We're back for round 2 of the F124 driver career mode, this time the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Now this was recorded before the patch, the first patch of the game, so you know the handling hasn't changed, and whatever other changes they made not affected in this one because this was done before that patch. Also, I will just mention that unfortunately there will not be any replays in this, any replay footage in this video, because I had to go somewhere straight after I did this race, so I saved the replay to record later, and yeah, it basically glitched out, and every time I tried to open the replay it crashed the game. So no replay footage in this one, sorry about that. But yeah, as you can see, R&D is still ridiculously close. Nobody's actually moved anywhere since Bahrain. Red Bull's still a fair way ahead, but yeah, Aston Martin, McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes all right on top of each other. It is so close in that kind of battle for second. Of course, we came home, if you saw the Bahrain race the last time out, we came home in P2 in that race thanks to a last lap move that, yeah, was... We literally got past, we went from P4 to P2, getting past Leclerc and Norris on the front straight because they weren't using their ERS. As we have a big snap through that corner there on our lap in Q1, very big snap there, lose a bit of time, but thankfully we make up time in the next couple of sectors, because yeah, didn't have a very good second or third sector in my first initial run, but ends up P9, so easily through to Q2. But yeah, we got that move done in Bahrain for P2. It's one of the things that I think needs to be looked at in this game. I don't know if that is something that they've, you know, addressed and potentially fixed for this first patch or not, but the AI do seem to... They seem to be very good at managing their ERS throughout the race, but then the last lap, they just... I don't know if they just dump it all, but they've dumped it all a lap early, so for the last lap they do not have enough ERS and they're just flashing the whole time and harvesting. So it means that on the last lap you can just blitz past them if you manage it better. So hopefully they address that, because yeah, I've noticed it happened in Bahrain, and I will say it does happen again here. You'll see it at the end of the race, just the AI not managing their ERS for that final lap of the race. And I am actually changing things up a little bit with the ERS as well. I watched a couple of videos on some tips on how to use the ERS, so I've kind of changed the way I do that. I was basically told that using the hot lap option during the race is a good thing to do. So I did that a little bit in this race, so we're not completely depleting the battery. As you can see, myself and Alonso ridiculously close to each other, 130.9 there, 7th and 8th in Q2. Both Saubers, both Williams and the Alpine of Esteban Ocon out in Q2 as well. And yeah, it is basically a fight of the top 5 teams, the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, McLarens, Mercedes and the Aston Martins. So yeah, we'll see how this goes for us here on our Q3 lap. So yeah, I like Saudi. I like the Jeddah circuit. It is quite a difficult circuit. You know, you have to be careful of the walls, much like Monaco, but quick. Bit more room for error than Monaco, I guess, in most places, but you know, it is a very tight track and it is very quick, so you really have to be careful. And I was a bit worried with this handling model, you know, getting used to the handling model, that I'd have some issues here, but to be honest, I didn't. I actually found, I think I've got used to this handling model quite quickly. I'm interested to see what the new handling model is like. I don't think they've tweaked it massively. I think they've just done some little changes, because yeah, for me personally, I didn't hate this handling model, so I hope they haven't changed it too much. But we'll have to wait and see when we get into Australia, because that will be the first race on the new patch. But as you can see here, Q3, we're going pretty well at the moment, stringing a good lap together. I also haven't used the difficulty calculator for this qualifying. However, I did use it for the main race because it is now up and running. So I'll have a link to it in the description if you want to have an idea of what difficulty you should run at. Use that in the description below. But yeah, we ended up P3, just shy of 4/10 off pole position, both Red Bulls 1 and 2, so they're showing that they have some very quick pace. But look at from 4th to 7th, they are all in the 130.8, ridiculously close. Just shows how close everybody is here. You've got Alonso and Norris both in the 31.0s. Alonso, yeah, he could have gone at least a tenth quicker. We did put a massive lap together, but yeah, Alonso went quicker in Q2, but let's go.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Shaw, Sainz, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Russell, Albon, Zhou, Ocon, Sargent, Bottas, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today, Anthony Davidson. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Right, here we go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in F124, round 2 of this 2024 first season. We get underway. It is an okay initial getaway, especially against Perez there. Verstappen up in front is on the soft compound tyres. Pretty much everybody around him on the mediums. I'm not actually sure who's on the softs, but yeah, I think most of, if not all of the top 10 at least are on the mediums. This is likely going to be a one-stop race from mediums to hards, unless, you know, any safety car interventions or anything. But it is an okay getaway, although both Red Bulls have already buggered off up the road. Perez already over a second ahead of us as we head into the end of Sector 1. And being hounded a little bit from Piastri, who's got a very good start. Started, I think, in... he started in 6th behind the Ferraris. He's gotten himself up to 4th right at the start, overtaking Leclerc and Sainz. But we have stayed stationary, stayed in place in 3rd place, just behind the Red Bulls. But yeah, drifting away from them a little bit with some ERS and DRS, well, just ERS usage, catch up to Perez a little bit down there. But we don't quite have the speed or the cornering grip to stay with the Red Bulls. So I do think they're going to get away from us rather quickly, and it's going to be a defense from the McLarens, Mercedes and Ferraris behind us, and Alonso as well, who is also in that train behind us. But as we come to the end of this lap, a little bit of oversteer as we come around the final corner, and as you can see, yeah, 1.4 seconds basically to Perez right at the start here after one lap. So it is going to be a little bit of defense, a little bit of a defense game for us, I think, for the majority of this race as we go back through the chicane again. Lap number 2, and already DRS is enabled, and already Oscar Piastri is looking very quick in that McLaren. His teammate got P3 in Bahrain. Can he get a podium this time around? Piastri gets past us into the hairpin, but I know that I'm then going to get DRS as we head down the front straight back into turn 1 again. And sure enough, with some decent usage of the ERS and the DRS, we get back ahead of Piastri into P1. That propels us a little bit closer back to Perez again, but he is now closing in on 2 seconds ahead of us. But yeah, I think we're going to be in for a race-long battle here. A bit of back and forth with Piastri in this race. Lap number 4, we've managed to keep him behind for a couple of laps here, but he is going to have a look into the final corner. Wasn't quite expecting him to go for it there. We're going to give him the room, actually end up going quite wide, tag the wall a little bit, no damage, and we're right up behind him as we use ERS, and it's going to be a pretty easy overtake to get back past him again. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of tit for tat here, just constant back and forth between me and him, and if the guys behind can also, you know, stay in this train, because look at the train in the bottom left there, massive train forming behind us right now as Piastri goes round the outside this time into the final corner. So once again, we're just going to sit back. We're keeping a bit more ERS than we did in Bahrain, managing it a little bit better. I still don't think my management is perfect, but we're getting there. We are actually using a lot of it though, down to 3% at one point there as we head into turn 1, so we're going to have to try and get that battery back up again as we head through this lap now, defending once again from Perez. And as you can see now, using a bit more ERS again, but he's just too quick for us with the DRS. Back down the inside again for Piastri, and he's now back up once again into P3. It just keeps happening. He gets us into the final corner, we get him back into the first corner, and once again he goes defensive to the inside, but we can just go around the outside beyond the racing line and continue our way through in 5th place. And it's just constantly happening. I mean, you can see that bottom left, look how close everybody is, and that is another issue I found with this game. The AI all seem to get stuck in trains quite a lot in this game, more so than previous games, do seem to get stuck in trains. As lap number 12, well 11 on to 12, we come into the pits for our hopefully one and only pit stop. We're held for a long time though, because we're waiting for cars to go past, and we've lost positions. We've got a Ferrari and a Mercedes ahead of us who were behind us before the pit stop. Who is it? I think that's Leclerc. Yes, it is. It's Leclerc and Hamilton who have managed to jump us in the pits there, because we got stuck waiting for, I think it was initially the Williams we were waiting to go past, and then after that point they had also, you know, come alongside us and we couldn't get past them. So we've lost 2 positions. We're now down to an effective P5, as now Leclerc's looking for a move on Hamilton. We had some great overspeed there, but we just had nowhere to go as Hamilton and Leclerc go side by side round the final corner. Hamilton gets a better run out of the corner, but Leclerc's going to get DRS. We're going to get DRS as well. We're going to have a look, and look at the speed here. I have nowhere to go. We're going to try and dart up the inside, because might as well go for it into turn 1, going into the corner, and Hamilton just turns in on us. He just completely turns in on us. Just, what was he doing? He should have given us way. I was alongside him. I was ahead of him in the braking zone, and he just turned in on us. Thankfully, no damage, I think, to either of us, as Hamilton then blasts his way back past Leclerc again. So now this is becoming, well, at the moment, kind of a 3-way fight for P3, as the Red Bulls are now scattering off even further ahead. But Hamilton has had a great start, actually, from a bit further down the grid to be in this position. Leclerc as well, who was behind his teammate but is now ahead of him, as we now do the same thing again, dive up the inside. This time though, we get ahead of Hamilton before the corner. He gives us the space. We're now battling with Leclerc side by side through turn 2. We're going to see if we can stay ahead going into this next corner later on the brakes. Oh, very close to the wall, and I have to just back out of it there. I think, no, I cannot fight that anymore. He's got the racing line. I'm not going to have contact here. We're just going to have to let him go, but that's fine, because we're going to go for a move into here, and then Leclerc squeezes into the wall, doesn't give us any room. Hamilton throws himself around the outside. Now Sainz has dived up the inside of us as well. We're down to single digits pretty much of ERS as well in this whole battle, and we're now down to P6 behind Hamilton, Leclerc and Sainz, as we were going for a move for P3, trying to keep ahead of Sainz. Piastri is now having a look around the outside as we're low on ERS. We just go late on the brakes. Piastri's still there. I'm trying to give him the room but stay ahead of him, and we do, but now we've lost out on that battle for P3. But thankfully, those guys are still going to be battling each other. Hamilton now trying to go for the move on Leclerc around the outside. Sainz is quick as well, but he can't find a way round. So we're just going to sit behind and wait for this to all go. Meanwhile, we've got Piastri, Alonso, and Norris behind us. So this is effectively a, what, 1, 2, 3, 4... This is effectively a 6-7 car battle for P3 at the moment, as they go 3 wide into turn 1. Contact between the 2 Ferraris. Leclerc and Sainz making contact. Leclerc, though, manages to get past Hamilton. Sainz is going to go past Hamilton as well. Will Hamilton fight it into this corner? Yes, he will. Round the outside. Which one of them will come out ahead? They're side by side still. around this whole section. This could end up in tragedy as they go here. We make contact with Hamilton. Thankfully, no damage done there. I don't know how we didn't get damaged. We just must have brushed his rear wheel. We then have an epic run off here, but once again, we're run out of road from Hamilton. Piastri now diving up the inside. He goes up the inside of me, up the inside of Hamilton. It is all going on here. Meanwhile, Leclerc is scampering off in that P3 position. Piastri now ahead of Hamilton, so now Hamilton and Piastri are going to go side by side. After going side by side with Sainz for most of the last lap, they're now going to go side by side with Piastri for this lap. We now have the overspeed on them, but once again, there is nowhere to go. I just have nowhere I can go here, but I'm worried about now Alonso. My teammate is behind me, the two cars ahead are wiggling around. They're going to go side by side through here as well. God, people say that the AI don't get aggressive and have battles in this game. Well, have a look at this, because they are definitely being aggressive and definitely having battles, as now we're going to try and get up the inside of Hamilton, but Piastri's there, nowhere to go. Alonso's trying to go around the outside of us. We're 3 wide with Hamilton and Alonso going in to the final corner, but we get ahead of Hamilton and we're up now into P6. This battle is absolutely insane. This is one of the most insane battles I've ever had in an F1 game. And yeah, I mean, I understand people saying that the AI aren't the most aggressive in this game, but when they do want to be aggressive and fight, damn, they can fight. As now into the first of the hairpins, we go around the outside of Oscar Piastri, use some ERS in hot lap mode and get ahead of him up into P5 now. So slowly now we're starting to carve our way back through again. Carlos Sainz now the next car ahead of us. I think P4 might be about the limit in this race because Leclerc has really gone. He's 3 seconds up the road. We make contact with Sainz as he just completely blocks us. What are you doing? That's one thing I've noticed in this game. The AI do seem to block quite aggressively. That I thought was a little bit of a late move there for Sainz, just to block us off. So he's managed to stay ahead. We do have the ERS though as we head down here, try and pick up a little bit of slipstream because he's obviously using a lot of battery to stay alongside us there. We're going to go late into turn 1, keep within track limits, still side by side with Sainz, but he's going to come out on top still in that battle for now. So we're still stuck behind the Spaniard, but we're going to go for a bold move here. I was kind of laying off this move earlier because I thought they're just going to get me back in the next sector, but I thought, you know what, we've got the overspeed, let's just go for it. He's then going to try and get us though back into this hairpin. But once again, that doesn't really matter because I can come back at him again. Piastri's looking for a move as well. Sainz actually gets a pretty good launch off the corner, but with DRS and ERS, we are using quite a lot of battery here though with this battling. We're going to go this time to the inside of Sainz, shove him back on the racing line, cannot get past him though, then have to defend from Piastri who sticks his nose up the inside of turn 2. Don't think he made any contact, but very, very close there. Once again, trying to make a move on Sainz around the outside this time. I wasn't really wanting to go for a move just yet, but Piastri was coming for me and was going to overtake me if I didn't try and overtake Sainz. We didn't make it stick though, but that's fine because we get DRS down the front straight and he does not have the battery to deal with that one. And onto lap number 21. We're back up into 4th place. Leclerc just over 3 seconds up the road now, so I don't think we're going to catch him, although we are catching him a little bit. He's now under 2 seconds ahead of us, but we're still fighting these cars around us. Sainz now round the outside of the final corner. We're staying ahead though. Maybe that was not a good idea because that means we're now not going to get the ERS, but we're going to the DRS, sorry. But we're going to use as much ERS as we can. Sainz gets ahead though, and now Piastri's coming for the outside. Sainz sits right in the middle of the road, almost screws us a little bit there, and kind of does because now Piastri is side by side with us through the corner. But I'm going to try and get ahead with hot lap mode into the next corner. Brake late. Let's shove him off the road. There we go. We're ahead. It was a legal overtake, but definitely getting my arms out a little bit here. As on the final lap, like I mentioned earlier, the AI seemed to just have completely used all of their battery, and yeah, Sainz had no battery left to use. Easy overtake on him to get up into P4. It's not a podium for us this time though. We were fighting for a podium. We started in P3, but it's going to be P4 for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here after an absolutely colossal battle. That was such an awesome battle. A little bit over the mark, I think, a few times with some of the AI, but it was a mega battle all the same. We've ended up P4, another great result for the team.
A sterling effort from the team and a magnificent drive to secure victory here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forward?
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So there we have it. It's a Red Bull 1-2 this time around. After Checo, I don't think scored any points in Bahrain. He finished, I think, P11 or P12, had a bad race in Bahrain. He does manage to rack up P2 this time around. Verstappen makes it a Red Bull 1-2. He wins his second race of the season, only winner so far in these first 2 rounds. And Charles Leclerc this time does get on the podium after just narrowly missing out in Bahrain. He has his first podium of the season. What an exciting race that was. Really, really good battling there. We came home in P4, great lap time for us. We were flying in that race, and Alonso comes home P8, but you look how close it is between myself and all the way back to Norris, and then a big gap back to Russell. Actually, don't know what happened to him, but he was a good 10 or 11 seconds off us in that kind of 4th to 8th train. As in the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen leads still, of course. We're still just about there in 2nd place. Alonso in 7th, so we're still in 2nd, but I think we are going to drop back, especially if the update, you know, drops Aston Martin down, more like their real life pace. We're probably going to start dropping off a bit for the rest of this season. But we also dropped down to P3 in the Constructors as well, with Red Bull in 1st with 69 points. Lovely. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.